wheels and the wheels are turning and we are live.
Boom.
We've got at least one person. Tom R is in with us. We'll give everybody a few minutes to join.
Wow, my wife isn't even on there?
Well, he's the only one commenting so far. Tom is a recent Compass Box fanboy.
Oh, great, Tom.
Yep. I think he's in, Tom, you are in the Chicago area, if I remember right. And I think he ran out, it was just within the last few weeks, and he's bought pretty much, I think, the core range of Compass Box and has been impressed with all of them.
Wait till he tries the special editions.
Yes, exactly. Well, all right. Well, yeah, before we get going, I guess. 901, we've got, how many people we got with us here? I can't see it. 21 people. Okay, we're good. I'm Scott with the Scotch Test Dummies.
I'm Bart.
And with us tonight from Louisiana, go ahead.
Straight from New Orleans, I'm Bobby Childs from Adventures in Whiskey. Hi, guys.
And Bobby is going to give us a 101 on some cognacs, one of which I already mispronounced unintentionally.
No, you didn't. That's what I call it V.S.O.P, baby.
V.S.O.P. That's it. It's like saying AWOL, V.S.O.P, Hennessy V.S.O.P. And we got
going to come hunt you down.
We got the new Master Blender, the Hennessy Master Blenders Collection, number 2. Woo. And Bart, what are we going to do?
We're going to test it.
Let's test it. We briefly touched on Compass Box. Bobby was one of the, when we started doing live streams, Bobby was like the second or third guest that we had on. He runs a separate whiskey blog called Adventures in Whiskey. Active on Twitter, Instagram, takes great photos. He started doing some videos on YouTube, and honestly, we need more because your video quality is outstanding.
I appreciate it. Laziness is taking over. That's all.
Now, Bobby is also, we were talking Compass Box, and Bobby's a Compass Box fan as well. We both at one point had bottles of the General, an older release that there was 1,600 bottles of, probably.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, and it was a mix or a blend of they wouldn't say for sure. Rumor was like a 37-year-old Scotch and a 42-year-old Scotch that was married then together in a cask for several years.
And it was wonderful. You guys sent me a small sample a couple years back, and man, it was like the best thing I've ever tasted.
Well, and I'll show those that are watching, but I showed Bobby, this is all that's left of my bottle of the General, and I am saving that for someday when we do meet up with Bobby, we will share that with him.
You know what? Look, we can save the time. Just ship it over my way.
That's right. Just ship it.
All right, well, let's start. I was warming up. I finished off. I had a little bit of my 42-year-old Boss Armagnac that I warmed up with, and then moved to Hennessy Black. That's the only cognac that me and Bart have reviewed. Bobby arranged for us to get samples of the VSOP and the Master Blender Series number 2. What do you want to start with, Bobby?
Let's start with VSOP, since that's part of their core range.
That sounds good. And I'm going to be using my Riedel cognac glass for its intended purpose.
Oh, you bastard!
I broke I didn't break the other one. My boy did, but he won't. He doesn't admit it. Wants to know why I blame him. I did leave it precariously on the counter where a lot of stuff gets put.
How delicate are those?
They're pretty delicate.
Yeah.
Definitely delicate enough it didn't survive a fall into the sink.
That's not good.
No, but I've got one. Let's see.
So first I want to thank David and Kate over at Conan Wolf. That's Hennessy's PR company for arranging the samples. Let's start with VSOP. So VSOP is like so Hennessy, where whiskey has age statements, or used to have age statements or whatever the case is. Hennessy never had age statements. I mean, Cognac never had age statements. It always had designations like VS or VSOP or XO. And that tells you a little bit about the age. Not that age, like whiskey, means everything, but it gives you an idea of what's in the bottle. VS, very special, is at least 2 years old. VSOP, very superior, old pale, is at least 4 years old. And XO is at least 6 years old. But starting next year, I think, XO has to be at least 10 years old.
Wow. It's like its own language.
Right? It's code. It's honestly, for me, when I was just getting into whiskey and someone mentioned Cognac, I couldn't decipher what any of that stuff meant. So it was a bit intimidating.
Oh, that's great information.
But once you sort of learn that, everything with Cognac, it's all aged in French oak casks, some new, like the VSOP, the younger releases will probably have a lot more new casks in there versus some of the older releases. I mean, they'll just reuse these French oak casks like crazy. And it's just like whiskey. If you're aging whiskey for a couple of decades, you don't want to use a brand new cask because it's just way too much cask influence. So back to VSOP, it's sort of the second in their range. Comes in right after VS. It's 4 to 15 years old, I believe, and Cognac, unlike whiskey, is made from basically wine. It's grapes. Whiskey is grain. Cognac is a type of brandy made from a handful of grapes, and it comes from the Cognac region. So all Cognac is brandy, but not all brandy is Cognac.
Right.
Interesting. Good.
That is perfect.
Yeah.
So that's what I got so far. If you want to get nerdy with it, in the Cognac region, and I apologize to anyone from France that's watching, anyone from Hennessy that's watching, for slaughtering any names here.
I've apologized.
So, the Cognac region is subdivided into 6 different crus. You got Grand Champagne, which is, and when I say champagne, I don't mean the bubbly you bring out at New Year's. It's more a description for the kind of soil, very chalky soil. So you got Grand Champagne, Petite Champagne, Borderie, Fine-Bois, Bonbois, and Bois Ordinaire. Again, I apologize if I screwed that up.
You're right near New Orleans. I expect that to be right on Cajun style.
The Cajuns here have their own style. Siri's still trying to catch up. That's a whole other language. I love Cajun Siri.
Well, another saying of Bart's that he came up with is, if you're gonna err boldly. So just spit it out, just like V.S.O.P. Do it.
Yeah, V.S.O.P. You throw it out, create it, man. This is a V.S.O.P. moment.
So this is bottled at 40%. Most cognacs, you'll notice, are bottled at about 40%. That's just what they like to serve it as. It's a little bit higher with the next cognac you're going to taste, but 40% is sort of it.
Now, okay, so when we talk bourbon, there's standard bourbon notes, cinnamon, vanillas, caramel, oak. When you go to a cognac, what's some of those signature notes? What are you looking for?
I generally get a lot of dry fruits like figs. I get some cognacs are very floral when you smell them. Some, depending on what they are, some like Hennessy XO, I find very like burnt sugar, brown sugar, caramel, heavy. But a lot of that fruit, dark fruit character, is what I get from cognac. A lot of spice too, just like you do in different whiskeys. You get a lot of cinnamon, nutmeg, and allspice, cloves, that sort of thing. And I think that a lot of that comes from the oak. In this case, it's French oak, which tends to be a little bit spicier than American oak. So what are you guys getting?
That's what I was saying. The nose on the VSOP. I mean, really a mix of like the spices, a sweetness.
From now on, I want you to call it VSOP. As yours. I like the way I feel like it should take off vertically and do some other stuff that I haven't figured out. Vertical.
But before it gets too far up the comment chain there, Bobby, Claire the Third is asking what the trophies are on your shelf.
I saw that too.
The trophies are Emmy Awards for a couple things I did at my station a couple years ago. A couple videos I produced.
Wow.
And one was on whiskey itself, wasn't it? The making of whiskey.
You can't see it, but behind me I've got a couple of Emmy Award nominations for a couple of whiskey pieces I did. One was bourbon, and the other one was rye whiskey, which is pretty cool. Sadly, they didn't win, but like they say in Hollywood, it's an honor to be nominated.
Wow,
that's right.
You got two of them.
Me and Bart haven't been nominated, so
nope, we haven't even gotten that far. The show's been overlooked.
It's travesty.
Yeah. I mean, we feel slighted, but we're going to drive on. We're pushing forward.
I think we need to start a new hashtag. Get this thing going. Start a new campaign.
Now that would be fun. Yeah. Sooner or later, sooner or later they will have some type of larger award for YouTubers. Not saying we'll be there.
I think one of the big, I don't know if it's the Golden Globes or the Emmys, but a few YouTube-based shows are nominated.
Really?
Yeah. It's one of the two big ones.
We're gonna have to revamp the show, Bart.
Boom. we're no more V-sopping, baby.
All right, Bobby, what do you get on the nose on this?
With this one, this one I find to be very balanced. It's very you get a lot of the burnt sugars. You get a lot of fig, some plum, a little bit of spice, and just a hint of vanilla.
Yeah, I definitely get the plum.
There's a very, very slight, very slight floral top note on when you're smelling it. For me, it shows itself with a little bit of airtime.
Oh, and you're right. I love the fig. There's that not quite meaty, but that very nice figgy kind of.
And for me, in terms of mixing versus sipping neat or whatever, in Hennessy's lineup, for me, the first one that would be I can sip on neat is the VSOP. For me, VS is nice, but it's a mixer. VSOP it's worth the small. I don't know what the price is off the top of my head, but I know it's not too much higher than VS, but it's worth the price.
I think these are only $30-$40 range, something like that.
Something like that.
Really?
Yeah, the big jump comes from I think after VSOP is the XO, and that's a couple $100.
We still got audio with you. We lost video for a little bit here. You probably neighborhood soaking up the.
What a great freeze frame too.
Yeah,
it is. There's a little bit of a rough beard there.
Yeah, right.
All right, I'm gonna go in for a sample.
Yeah, go on in with that VSOP. I love it. Hennessy's like, shut up, quit saying that. Oh yeah, kind of I've got your smoldering look once again.
Let me change my Wi-Fi here and see if that helps.
I'm still digging it. I mean, your audio is great.
Wow, that is neat. That's very good. It's very sweet. Not much of an alcohol burn to it. All the spices, red fruits, almost raspberries and blackberries, brown sugar.
Yeah, it has a very like blackberry finish for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wow. Yeah, the sweet berries all over the finish. And you're right, I had some of those spices on the beginning side on the forefront.
And if you like the spice part, the Master Blender selection for me is one of the spiciest cognacs I've tasted. Definitely the spiciest one from Hennessy.
Now, and you said most of these, or at least the VSOP for sure, it's 40%.
Yeah, most of the cognacs are 40%. The Hennessy Master Blender selection is 43%, and they sort of consider that cask strength. Over time, they'll water down the add water to the barrels to bring down the proof. So where whiskey you can get a close to 140 proof, with cognac they like to bring it down a bit.
A couple comments real quick. Whiskey Throttle, he comments he's had the pleasure of trying a single barrel cask strength cognac.
What was the strength on that? Does he say?
No, I'm sure he'll probably answer with the correct answer on that. And then a couple comments on the XO. It's approaching $200 for a bottle of the XO.
It's not cheap, but it's, after trying it, it's probably one I'll always have in stock. Kind of like the Johnny Walker Blue. It's I like it. I'll keep it in stock.
Bart, Travis is asking, do you like the cognac better than the Castoriti?
I do. The spice flavor note with that blackberry finish is very, I mean, it definitely sets it apart, and it's a lot, not a lot more, but it's very appealing to me. I really like it.
Yeah, in fact, as I finished off my sample, I still had a little bit left of that Armagnac that I finished off before the show. And I mean, it's a lot more kind of dry, stringent, more tart, kind of probably more grape flavor though coming through in the Castoriti than there is in the cognac.
Well, what you'll notice is with cognac, it's distilled twice in pot stills. Think like whiskey. With Armagnac, I believe it's only distilled once. So you get a little bit more of the flavor of the fruit in the wine.
It didn't help that when I did the Armagnac, it was blind. It was one of my blind quick hitters. I had no idea, and it kind of caught me. And you want to hear a bad pronunciation on that one? What did I call that? I looked at it because that's part of my problem on the quick hitter. I'm seeing it, I'm filming it, and I'm like, Armagnac, what the heck? I mean, I was like, wow, I was like an idiot.
Well, the couple of Armagnacs I have had are the strength's been pretty high on them, and the flavor is tremendous. They're fantastic.
Damn, somebody's digging.
Oh, must be Bobby. Bobby, you getting notifications?
Yeah, that's on my computer. I'm telling the wife to get off the Wi-Fi.
Oh,
no.
Dragging it down.
She can get on Facebook tomorrow.
Yeah, you're back. I can see you there. That's good.
You guys want to move on to the other one?
Let me. I've got a little bit more, but yes.
That's got to be the thumbnail right there. Bart upending the cognac.
Oh yeah.
Would it help if I unplug from the get out of the live stream and coming back in? You think that'll help?
Hey, you can try it if you want. Just
we got great audio. Audio is usually a much bigger factor, and as far as I'm concerned, than your visual.
Okay, I'm good if you guys are.
It'll come back, I'm sure.
So the Hennessy Master Blender selection. This is the second year they're doing it. It's sort of one of these. They'll play around with different cognacs that are eau de vie, which is what unaged cognac is, or unaged brandy is called. They'll play around with different ones, and they might find something really interesting that doesn't necessarily fit their core range. So instead of just putting it back in the cellars and forgetting about it, they'll blend something one time and put it out. And I think the Master Blender Selection is a US only release, which is kind of cool. All I know about this second release, it's 43%, and it is 15. No, it's about 10 years old, I think. Let me double check my notes here. Yep, it's aged at least 10 years old.
So it's probably, the price is probably going up then a little bit once you get that high.
I think a bottle of this runs about $100.
Oh, yep. Dan E had just commented that $90 for the Blender's Batch number 2.
Now that's interesting. I'm not getting as maybe it hasn't opened up yet, but I'm not getting as much off of the nose.
Yeah, my VSOP was poured before the show started. I just poured this one. It does take for me a couple of minutes to open up.
The nose is real similar, I think. I wouldn't say, I mean, Bart says he's not getting anything off of it. I'm getting it, but real similar to the VSOP.
And for me, when I got into cognac recently, it was sort of like when I got to whiskey, where sort of all whiskeys tasted the same and smell the same. And so I had a hard time sort of differentiating this cognac from this cognac and the next, until I sat down for probably 2 weeks straight comparing different ones each night. And finally, I'm like, all right, I get this from here. I see this has a little bit more spice or whatever it is.
2 weeks straight. It's hard labor there.
It's a tough job, but someone's got to do it, right?
That's right.
So with this one, sort of the same thing. A lot of dried fruit, some floral top notes, a little bit of vanilla. But for me, a lot of baking spice. A lot of cloves, a lot of allspice.
Huh. Man, I'm not getting nearly as much here.
And then when you taste it, it should be a bit spicier than the VSOP.
Yes. Wow. Yeah, the flavor, that's nice. It gets you a little bit more of that spark at the front.
Almost more whiskey like, more oak with it.
I even got some like black peppercorn and stuff on the back end.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's like it's got that fresh ground pepper kind of kick to it.
A little citrus. There is a bit of a oak tannin, and it sort of dries things out a little bit, makes things a little bit astringent. But man, that finish just lasts for a while. Just coat your tongue, coat your throat.
Yeah, that's nice. Almost, I just got right there a little bit more maybe of the grape in that one in the Master Blender series.
Yeah, I'm loving that pepper in there, and then you're right, you get a little bit of that. Like those kitchen spices in there for sure. But on the nose, boy, I'm still not pulling.
Now we've been neat. Do you add water? Do you add an ice cube?
I generally, for the VSOP, it depends on the mood. Sometimes I'll add a big ice cube and in a rocks glass, or the Thomas Bastide glass I from Hennessy that I've been pouring or drinking from this night. Same thing with whiskey. It depends on my mood.
Mark out.
It will, like, I find things with the VSOP and the XO, it'll change the aromas a little bit. You get more of the the aromas that the casks bring. So more of those caramels, a little bit more of the vanilla.
Yeah, more. Yeah, definitely caramel. Yep, caramel and vanilla both in there.
Mark Adams loves my hat. That's what I read in the comments, I believe. He's a big fan. Big fan of the hat.
How big's your hat selection?
You know, it's pretty big and it keeps growing. Actually, it was funny. The wife was she's always doing hat stuff with funky stuff, and she was on Craigslist, and some guy was saying apparently he has a hat collection like I have board games and whiskey, and he was trying to get rid of 20 of them for $10 or something. So because this is a Stetson, and he got rid of 2 straw caps. And so, yeah, that was good.
Well, people are calling. They want just a picture of you, and then they want the video back of Bobby because of that hat.
Boom, yeah. Who wouldn't want the still picture of Bobby? He's smoldering. That's a good one. He's got a little bit of the rough beard going there. They're rocking the T-shirt. Now, this is good. I really like this. If I was sipping, I'm definitely headed toward the Masters here.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And it's I don't remember off the top of my head what the number 1 tasted like, but it was a bit more floral, a bit lighter. Number 2 is just kind of big and spicy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm digging it.
It really it comes across more to me like almost like a whiskey with a hint of something else in there, being the cognac, just because of the oak, the vanilla, that caramel that you pointed out. Compared at least to the VSOP.
Right. I'd love to see some a whiskey company out there finish off their whiskeys in some ex Hennessy barrels. I'd love to see that. Maybe something from Glenmorangie or something, since they're owned by the same company.
Well, what's I know Joseph Magnus is using some cognac barrels. I don't know which ones.
I would assume it's got to be Hennessy if it's all coming from the same company.
We have no idea on that.
What's the quote on your wall there, Scott?
I always put up a movie quote. A few people have already, well, I don't always. Most of the time I have a movie quote I put up there to see who can get it, and we've had a few people correctly guess.
They've been yelling out Predator.
That's right.
Boom.
One of the best action movies of all time.
That was good when he's covered in mud, baby.
All right, so Christmas is coming up right around the corner. What's your favorite Christmas movie?
Christmas Vacation.
Oh, no. I like, man, I'm forgetting it too. What's the one with little Ralphie running around?
Christmas Story.
Yeah, Christmas Story.
I like Die Hard.
Die Hard. You got to throw Die Hard in there as well.
Die Hard's best Christmas movie around.
Wow, that is good.
That is right. Christmas will be here before we know it.
Probably not for the kiddos, though.
Yeah. Kill me. I'm right here. Kill me.
No, you got to do that in Arnold's voice.
Oh, sorry. You do it. You're better at that.
No, I can't imitate. I can in some things, but
yeah, not that one.
Get to the chopper.
Kill me. I can't get close.
So, any more cognac or Hennessy questions you guys have?
Well, Ron, Danny says Ron Zacapa XO rum is finishes in cognac barrels.
Fantastic.
Whiskey Throttle came back with some stuff on the bottle that he had, and then into how it was acquired by a friend, and he didn't want to get into too many details. It was over 50%. And then someone had pointed out that the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society had just released their first cognac.
Wow.
And I do remember that. Within the last month.
Yeah, wasn't that kind of pricey too, wasn't it?
I'm sure it was coming from the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society, but I wonder though too, was it at barrel strength like most of their stuff?
Yeah, I can't remember. I remember eyeballing it, thinking I might grab this since this is new, and then I had a little sticker shock. I was like, nope, I'll save it for the peated expressions.
I should probably become a member, get some of these bottles.
Oh yeah, and then Toll V Thomas 12 points out that Parker Heritage did a series with a cognac finish once. It was awesome.
They did. I actually have a one from Heaven Hill that's finished in cognac barrels for 30-something months.
I had a sample. I think that was an 8-year. It was a distillery.
It was an 8-year, right?
Yep, distillery release only, and it was delicious.
It was fantastic. I tried that one back to back with the Parker's Heritage that was just mentioned, and actually I preferred the distillery exclusive one over the Parker's Heritage.
Faircloth has a great question. Wants to know, is coloring added to cognacs ever?
Yes, just like Scotch, caramel coloring is added to cognac. But there are rules, kind of like Scotch, where they can only add a specific percent, and it can't change the overall quality or nature of or character of the whiskey or of the brandy.
Let's see.
What's your opinion, Bobby, on the Remy Martin 1738?
I have not tried that one. The only Remy Martin I've had is the VSOP. But that's on my sites. That's on my list of things to try.
Now, let me ask you, because I haven't seen the Parker's Heritage here, and I know it's pretty limited anyway.
The new one?
Well, our store did get one bottle in, which they sold. They acted like they were ashamed they didn't offer it to me, but they sold it for $300, and I was like,
$300?
Yeah, it was the 11-year. I was like, I wouldn't have wanted it for that anyway.
It should be about $120.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm looking for a bottle of that. Right now, it's probably my favorite bourbon of the year.
Really?
The 10-year-old single barrel they released a few years back was flawless, I thought, and this one was as compelling as the other one was. It was beautiful bourbon.
Tell us a little bit, Bobby. You were involved in either the last batch or the batch before that of choosing which one Booker's released.
Oh, the round table.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun evening. So I think once a year they grab a few writers and whiskey fans and get everyone together. Either they'll send everyone to Kentucky, where everyone meets and does a distillery tour and have dinner with Fred No and do the whole thing, or like in our case, they'll send everyone a couple of samples and everyone tries them and gets on a big conference call and here's Fred No tell some fantastic stories that'll have you, busting aside laughing. So in this case, they sent us two different batches of Bookers that they made up, and they sort of go through the production history of each one, where they, how old each one is and how many barrels and what warehouses they came from, that sort of thing. And we basically sit down and argue and go back and forth about which one tastes most like Booker's. Because Booker's has a specific flavor profile. They were both fantastic, but one kind of just screamed classic Booker's versus the other one. So I think so we all, except for one person, we all agreed on what became batch 1 of this year.
Good.
So,
Nice.
yeah,
now, did they send you a bottle? Did they send you a bottle?
Yeah, I picked up a bottle, had it signed by Fred No at the New Orleans Bourbon Festival. That guy's a riot. If you've never met Fred No, add it to your bucket list.
Wow. We'll have to hook up with him at the Wichita Bourbon Festival.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that happens like every 18 years. They do it on a weird cycle.
I see you got the Knob Creek. Is that the 25th anniversary behind you there, Scott?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Have you tried it yet?
Oh, yeah. It's about halfway gone. Yep.
What do you think?
I loved it.
Yeah, that was good.
Now, I know there's a couple of different strengths, and they say that one of the batches or one of the strengths is better. I've got the 121.8.
Yeah, I forget how many barrels they picked. They're all single barrels, all about 13 or 14 years old, I think.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And they sent me 2 samples a few months before it came out, 2 tiny little samples from 2 different barrels. One was really good, and that was the lower proof one. It was as good as any Knob Creek single barrel I can pick at the store. And the higher proof one was one of the best Knob Creeks I've ever tried. It was fantastic whiskey.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's this one or not, but I was impressed with it, and I've considered buying. There's still a couple of them around town, but they're not that proof. It was at one of the different barrels.
Right.
So I haven't, but I've definitely considered it.
I think they're about all sold out here in New Orleans. I couldn't find a bottle in time.
Claire is pointing out that he's got his is 124 proof, and it's delish.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Delish. I mispronounced that on purpose.
I thought delish was even.
I'll have to issue an apology.
Yeah, I want to see an apology.
Hey, Bobby. Tom R is asking, have you tried the Martell Cordon Bleu?
No, I have not. The only Martell cognac I've tried is their new single distillery VS. It's something new. I guess they're trying to go from like it's almost like the equivalent of a single malt, where these big cognac houses have all these different producers working for them, all these distilleries working for them. Martell has picked like 1 or 2 distilleries, and they're only releasing cognac from that one distillery for this release. That was pretty good. I enjoyed that one a bit.
I'm loving this one. I might have to get some of this Masters.
And that just came out this month or last month, so it should be hitting shelves soon. I don't think it's here in New Orleans yet.
I don't mind either one. I do like the Master Blender series a little bit more than the VSOP, and I'm sitting here. I've poured the rest of my samples, and it's pretty tasty.
Yeah, letting it just kind of the finish just sit and settle for a bit. I got a little bit of that sweet cherry nibs, kind of that cherry licorice aftertaste kind of flavor. It was really good.
Now, what we didn't talk about, though, with cognac, aren't you supposed to warm it? Aren't you supposed to cup the glass of cognac to warm it up?
So when I think of cognac, when I first got into it, I was, like I mentioned before, I was a little bit intimidated because the image of cognac I had was, these stuffy old English guys in leather chairs smoking their pipe tobacco and, drinking after dinner cognac, wearing, talking about the war. It's cognac's like whiskey, man. It's like however you want to drink it. You want to warm whiskey up, because I heard the same thing with whiskey. You kind of warm it up and bring it to room temperature, which is fine if you live sort of in a colder region. But here in Louisiana, I want to cool my stuff off a little bit. If I warm it up, it's just too hot. You can add some ice if you want. You can mix it if you want. Well, I wouldn't mix the Master Blender selection, but definitely mix it. Whatever you want to do. You want to throw it in a microwave? By all means. Make a hot toddy.
Yeah, I like this one.
You know what I did? I don't mix too many drinks at the house, but I made a Sazerac before with Hennessy V.S.O.P, and it was fantastic. The Sazerac was originally made with cognac instead of rye whiskey. And it was one of the most satisfying Sazeracs I've had in a while.
How do you say that, Bart?
Say Sazerac.
Sazerac.
Overpronunciation of the Z.
Sazerac.
Yeah, a little Zaz.
Sazerac.
I love the Sazerac Rise. Somebody wanted to know what Cousin Shane, how he would rate it. I said Cousin Shane would rate this a tickle fight with Mama.
Better than a tickle fight with Mama.
Yeah, better than a tickle. No, a tickle fight with Mama can be good. Depends on the meals. Depends on the meals.
It's better than sunshine on your bare bottom.
On a spring day.
And who doesn't love sunshine on their bottom on a spring day?
I think he adds in on their bare bottom. I think he adds in a little bareness.
Bobby, we got to try to get your video back. I figured it'd be back by now. If you want, do you want to drop out and then just click back on click back on the invite and come in. Let's see if that fixes it.
All right. Stand by, guys.
Yep. Bart will talk while you're gone.
It is known to happen that I will fill time as necessary. And you know what? I've been impressed with how your mic sounds, Bruno, so I'm trying to get closer. But when I do, then I come off screen here.
I got mine set up where it's right in front of me. Bobby Childs is coming back. There he goes. There we go. We got video.
There we go.
Look at that. It was just a reconnect need.
Well, I figured we'd give it a little bit, and I thought you'd be back, and then we were in the middle of the tasting and stuff, and so I thought, well, let's ride it out. And
yeah, I thought it'd come back.
Well, thank God we're back. Celebrate.
Oh, yeah.
One more cognac.
Yeah, pour that. That was good. Bronco Raj says playing Tickle Pickle on your birthday.
It's Giggle Wiggle. Giggle Wiggle with Mama on your birthday.
Yeah, he does say Giggle Wiggle with Mama on your birthday. Is pretty good.
We've been talking with Cousin Shane. He is due for a new appearance. And we are also planning something in the works, a one-day thing with me and Bart, Cousin Shane, and Shakes Pennington will be with us.
Who's our acoustic guitar. We're tentatively calling it a whiskey run. And we're going to do a whiskey run to a location. Hopefully, we're trying to work it out with the distiller. It's not too far away. This first whiskey run,
That's a lot of information you're putting out right there.
Disregard everything I said. It's a whiskey run, man. I tagged it. That was it. We're working out some info.
I don't like these unofficial apologies. I want a big formal apology.
Yeah, I'm gonna call the wife and the boys down. Come on down, boys. They're just gonna pop in on the back every once in a while. Oh, on a side note on that, my mom was pissed. She thought that was legit on Facebook.
Your apology video.
Yeah, my mom thought the apology video was true, and she was getting on the oldest lad because he laughed in the background and messed up my apology, which threw me off because mom's got to know there's not a lot of shame you can bring on my family name and my name. I mean, there isn't. It happened years ago. We're bulletproof.
We did have one fan that got a little miffed. Hopefully he comes back. He thought you was being serious at first.
He did clarify, though, he'd recently had a stroke and that he's been irritable due to said stroke. And I'm not even joking. That was right in his statement. But yeah, he said he thought it was real and I didn't need to apologize. But if it was fake, he was pissed. Scott was like, spoof, sorry. And I thought, how could he think it was real? And then my own mother. I went and watched it. She obviously doesn't know. She would have no idea what the names of the distilleries were. But I tried to make them so absurd that you had to know. So, but it is what it is. When the wife broke up, hearing them, I thought that would be the giveaway.
Yeah, as soon as I'm like a public apology from Bart, I said, what's going on?
Yeah. Tried to make it real stiff and jilted. Basically, it was I wanted to make it feel like Scott had a gun to my head slightly off camera.
Well, let's go into what kind of, I think you had this in the works for a while, but what spawned it was Bart's quick hitter with Glenmorangie, was it the Quinta Ruban?
Yes. That was it.
And Bart does his quick hitter, and he doesn't know what the sample is. He's tasting it. He's giving his notes, and he picks up the bottle, and he goes, "Oh, huh."
A lot of pressure. It's a Glenmorangie.
No, I had the Glenmorangie. Quinton
on.
Man, huh?
First,
Glenmorangie.
I had to peel off the painter's
And-
tape. There's blue tape, so it was more of a surprise.
And all I said, I said, now you listen to Mark Gillespie on Whiskey Cast every week.
Now,
And
hold
one
on.
of his
Pause
sponsors.
right there. First thing I do, I'm going to tell you a secret. I skip the commercials.
One of Mark's sponsors every week is Glenmorangie. Exceptionally well made.
I don't get that far. I hit the 15-second speed up and it's gone.
Glenmorangie. Thank you from Glenmorangie. 15 seconds with Glenmorangie.
I know. Well, here's what.
It's a Glenmorangie, huh?
Right.
What do you know?
So all of a sudden, Scott is going to be telling me like I can't put an ice cube in my whiskey too. He's going over the dark side. I'm just telling you. I think that, but then he yells out VSOP, and I'm like, "Thank you, brother. I'm going to let it pass." So, but that was where the apology came from. Yeah, he was busting me. Woo!
I need to send you guys some Hennessy XO. Let's try that. I think you really like that.
I think we're definitely broadening our horizons. Not that rum is out of the question. Rum is still okay. I see a little bit more here with the cognacs than I did with the rum samples that we've done so far.
Yeah, I know this much about rum, but I got Fred Minnick's new rum book, Rum Curious, and hopefully I'll learn a thing or two.
See, Minnick's going to make rum blow up.
Yeah.
Now, Bart, in the apology video, you told your wife to look serious. She does not look like that all the time, does she?
No. A matter of that, she looks like that sometimes when I piss her off. That's the look.
Yeah, you have seen the look, but that's not her normal. She was doing that on purpose.
Yeah, she did that on purpose. And you know, Scott, though, I do make her mad frequently.
I don't know how.
Yeah, you know. I don't know. You've seen it. Sometimes you can't put up with me. I'm light and fluffy and but churlish all at the same time.
So I have a serious question for you, Bart.
Yeah,
do you have more bottles of whiskey or more hats?
Ooh, I definitely have more whiskey, but I will tell you I have more board games than whiskey.
Really?
Yeah.
What's your board game count and what's your whiskey count?
Whiskey count, what do we have, Scott? Maybe 100 plus, 110?
I've got over 100 bottles myself, so you've got to be the same.
Yeah, I'm roughly about the same, right around 100 bottles ish. Board games, I'm above 850.
Wow.
So
whiskey's your second passion then?
Yeah. Yes. Actually, yeah, it is. Yeah, I've been board gaming since I was 13, hardcore on like serious board games, and probably a third, or about a third of those are review copies that have been sent to me though. So
fantastic.
Bobby, what do you got in the works? What are you doing now? I mean, what do you see coming up? You got anything in the future?
Actually, I'm looking at to make room for this. I had to clear the room a little bit for this video, and I had to move all my samples off to the corner. It's pathetic. I've got no room on the floor anymore. I've got some cool stuff. I've got Kilbeggan single grain. That's a new Irish whiskey. I got McCarthy's single malt from Oregon to try. Trails End as well from Oregon.
Good. We were really impressed with that one.
I saw the video.
Yeah.
What else do I have? I've got Glenmorangie.
There you go. Bring it on.
I've got the new Astar, which is a cask strength that is making the market again. What else do I have? I've got some barrel proof whiskeys from Redemption, and a whole bunch of stuff that I can't read because the labels are turned around. But yeah, a lot of fun stuff. How about you? And getting back to making YouTube videos.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got great production, of course, great cameras and photography, great lighting, all that stuff. Yeah, but you just need to get more out there.
Yeah, I think I need to do what a lot of guys do is just shoot 3 or 4 or 5 right in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll hold me over for a month or so.
Yeah. Once you get the camera set up and the lighting's going, you got your mic on and everything, just do 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. And
see, but here's the thing though, where I'm shooting, and this is the second bedroom in the middle of the house. I've got 3 big windows right to my left, and the neighbor's driveway is right there. And wouldn't you know it, every time I sit down, I set the lights up, set the cameras up. As soon as I start and hit record and say, "Hi, my name is Bobby Childs," the kids come out and play. They're starting to yell. They're playing basketball. They're right outside my window. The dogs are going crazy. It's nuts. It's a circus.
Mm.
As soon as I hit stop record and go hang out for a second. Oh, it's quiet. Let me go back. Apparently they took a break too, and they make it right outside at the same time.
Wow. Well, if you get a real good live mic, it might not pick all that up.
Maybe I need to start a Patreon.
Yes.
there you go. Hey, you're in media. You got access to all that high dollar stuff.
Yeah, borrow like their 1999 model.
Just take it home over the weekend. You guys don't need it.
We actually used to do that back in the day, and then the companies got a little stricter about that kind of thing.
Boo.
So, all we have now is the whatever the iPad records on, that little tiny little pinhole mic.
Wow. Mm.
For those that have tuned in late and didn't catch us at the beginning, Bobby Childs is with us. He's also known as Adventures in Whiskey. He does have a YouTube channel. Several videos are out. He needs to do more. He's also on Twitter and, Twitter, you're just Bobby Childs, correct?
Yeah, Twitter, I'm just Bobby Childs because I'm too lazy to make it Adventures in Whiskey.
Uh-huh. And Instagram, Adventures.
Instagram is Adventures in Whiskey. Facebook is Adventures in Whiskey. I'm mainly on Instagram now. That's where I usually do a lot more interaction. I like the aspect of it.
Bobby is right by New Orleans.
Right outside of New Orleans.
Behind him on his shelf, a couple people have asked, are some trophies. Those are Emmys that he was nominated for. He's in the media business, and he done a short film on whiskey.
Yeah, he done
That's
it.
right. You gonna correct me?
Yeah, on that one. He done He did a.
He done did a
good old tele thing on the telly.
on the boob tube.
That's right. And with some Glen Morangy.
Mark's Whiskey Whistle is commenting. He says you should get some foam soundproofing and a fuzzy mic. That's what he does because he's got like 8 kids that run around, and he's in South Korea in this little apartment. And
I think Bart's onto something. I think a good lav will just pick up what I'm doing.
So I like how you said it. You said lav. That's even better. I said lav mic. That was good. A lav.
You guys use a lav or a couple lavs, or you use a shotgun?
We do a shotgun currently, but it does pick up a lot of extra stuff, and we've been eyeballing a real high fancy dual lav.
Yeah, wireless, and there's even when we go on the road and stuff, which we've talked about, hitting some distilleries up and doing some tours. We'll be out and about and have some good audio anyway.
You do that. Bring the lavs. You contact the distilleries beforehand, and maybe you can sit down and talk to the distillers.
Yep. That is definitely the idea. Well, we happened to be at a studio for a thing, and it was funny because we were off to the side talking quietly, and the lady, the rep that was with us was like, "Oh, you don't have to talk quietly. Their lav mics won't pick you up." We're like, "Really?" Because our boom mic would definitely pick up somebody chit-chatting about 15 feet away. And she was like, "No, you're good."
It depends. It depends how what the conditions are, because sometimes when we have an important shoot, we'll put a lav on them, and then we'll shoot a second channel with a big shotgun mic, and everything sounds all right. We go to listen to it afterwards, and you can hear someone talking in the background on both mics. So it depends on what's happening. I don't know where we went from whiskey to audio equipment, but
It was good. Good trail. We need, I think Horst has a patented mic. We need that one. It's called
Horst,
the Swoosh.
I think Horst has the lav mic, but he puts it like right up here, or it's either that or right here by his.
Yeah.
you always get the little Britney Spears mic that comes right on the side of your mouth, and or get the Bob Barker, the very thin handheld.
Be cool.
Bob Barker. You say that, I immediately think of the Adam Sandler movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want a piece of me?
Nice. There's your quote.
So what do you guys got coming up soon that you can share?
Yeah. I said too much about the whiskey run.
We got we don't have too much in the works right now. We are talks are already underway for the next year's 12 Hours of Boom.
That's right.
Are you gonna make it big? Sequels have to be bigger. I mean,
that's what I was hesitating.
15 hours of Boom?
Well, I was thinking maybe 13 hours of Boom.
No,
you gotta go bigger than that.
It'll be 12 hours, 0.1 minute. That's what that'll be. You know,
well, we actually went 12 hours and 20 or 30 minutes on the last one.
Well, we'll do this. Will be 12.1.
That was fantastic. I was doing a lot of traveling when you guys did that day. So I caught you guys when you started, and then I had to go run some errands, come back, and then I caught hour 2, had to go run some errands, came back, caught hour 4, then I had to go to another thing and come back, and I caught the very end of the show when you guys were out, and Cousin Shane and everyone.
Yeah, the fire pit.
Fantastic.
When we first got started, I thought we'd bit off more than we had chewed, and before we knew it, we was right there at hour 12, and yeah, it went real good.
We were turning and burning though. That 15-minute break was barely enough.
I can imagine.
And with location changes, we're going to cut those location changes way down. Because that was yeah.
Yeah, 15.
Six location changes with
I don't remember.
10 guests.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And how do you make that bigger? 15 hours.
Mm.
You know, in a few years, it'll be just 24 hours. You'll be the new Jerry Lewis of whiskey.
Wow. We'll see as long as we have a sponsor.
Well, we'd have to have guest hosts. It'd be like this hour is brought to you with Bobby Childs.
Boom. And then Bob comes in.
Yep. While we're sleeping.
I remember with the tux and everything else and bad jokes.
It'd be perfect. We are going to have somebody that's just watching the comments. Maybe our whiskey scout. That'll be his job if he agrees, because a lot of people said that Scott was too busy watching the comments and couldn't be Scott.
Yeah, we need someone dedicated to watch the comments and bring up questions for us. We've talked about that we may have the whole time. We might have that person, and maybe Cousin Shane will be set up just off camera, off to the side, and we'll even they'll be on their own feed, and we'll switch back and forth to them occasionally.
You need a whole production staff. You get a couple production assistants. They'll run air. Go grab some food. Go grab some whatever for you.
Well, we already had a buddy with a soundboard, offer that up to us for the music part, because we had the mic that we had got washed out by the music. It was too loud. So we already had a buddy say, I've got a soundboard. We'll bring that in there. We'll get all wired up, blah, blah, blah.
It's going to get crazy. All I wanted was an intern.
We'll pay for whiskey.
That's right. Yeah, I wanted an intern. That was it.
We needed someone bringing coffee and pizza. Whiskey Scout showed up with the pizza, and he's watching. Matter of fact, he's commenting in here.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully he'll be there again. He may be able to come. We don't know yet. He may be working. He may be able to come on the thing that I said too much about earlier.
For a second, I was thinking, what if I comment and then fly over to Wichita and then come in right at the last hour and just photobomb you guys and then fly back out?
That'd be badass.
Well, no,
I wouldn't even say anything. I just walk in the background and do a peace sign and just walk out.
Yeah, you just wander in. People be like, "Is that Bobby? Is that Bobby right there?"
Just walk out lost.
Yeah, you'd be holding both Emmys. You'd be like, bam, and then we're
Wait,
like, it's like
but then you wouldn't get to drink the General.
There you go.
Yeah, you'd have to stick. You'd have to stay. Don't let Shakes Pennington get near the General. That'll be gone. He'll drink it like it's water.
I'm half tempted to get Scott to open up one of those bottles of Compass Box, and I'll do the same here. I'm half tempted.
Get him. Do the circus. Circus.
The circus is going to take quite a bit. There's I can get. Well, this is not a luxury whiskey. Is about gone.
I got 2 bottles of that. That's fantastic stuff.
Bring that one with you.
Ooh. Circus. I just love the can. It's got to just taste like a. I think it'll taste like the big round top.
It's very sherried. It's very delicious.
Oh, really? You got to try that, Scott. You love sherry.
Gorgeous stuff.
Tom R., the recent Compass Box fanboy, he's got a bottle coming. He'd found there was a Benny's somewhere close to him that had 2 bottles.
Wow.
Still. So he is getting one.
I probably need to go seek out a second bottle.
See, that's what I've been telling Scott. He needs to buy doubles of all those.
Open one, save the other one.
Right.
And Claire the Third, who's watching and commenting, somewhere in Wisconsin, he recently found a bottle on a shelf somewhere in a store.
I think what did that run, about $300? Something like that?
Close to, I think it was 260, 280, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I should probably stock up.
Glazier.
I got to point this out real quick. Bronco Raj has crossed the line. Cousin Shane will not be chugging the General in 6 seconds.
No way.
No.
You just got to.
What if Cousin Shane says, I won't chug it, but do you have any Diet Pepsi?
Oh.
Is he to mix it with? Negative. Abort. Prank call.
You wouldn't let him put that in there?
No.
All I'm saying is don't let Shakes Pennington get close to your bottle of Wow. That's all I'm saying. That bottle of Wow took a hit. Shakes Pennington was not allowed to drive away from the location. It was drinking responsibly, and he got a blanket and a couch. That
is, we were calling him Cousin Steve. We had Cousin Shane, and we had to come up with a name real quick, Cousin Shane, and his name henceforth. He was the artist formerly known as Cousin Steve. He is now Shakes Pennington,
which is better. He's got a little shake in his hand. Boom. And
I feel like I keep doing a Bart where I keep going back and forth towards the camera.
Do it. It has a special effect. See, half the time I think I'm off camera, so I'm moving around, I'm diving in, coming down to the mic. It keeps things lively, is what it does.
Keep people on their toes, right?
Right. Yeah. It's
Claire the Third is pointing out he found his circus for $260, and he can probably get another. He says for $300.
Oh.
I would bite the bullet on that one myself, just to have 2 to open one and save one.
That's not a bad thing to do. I did that with This Is Not a Luxury Whiskey. As soon as I opened it and tried it, I immediately went out and acquired a second bottle.
Wow. We need to get closer to John Glazier.
How close? This close?
Yes. We need to be that. I need to be like, just like, hey, John, there's 2 of us. We would love actual bottles for sample, sir. Yes. We'll have to go to Glasgow.
I thought about that. I thought about whenever the wife and I make it out to Scotland, we may spend a week in London. I think their offices are in London.
Really?
Where they're actually doing the blending and stuff, and arranging a visit there. So Compass Box, if you're watching, please.
Or you can get Dummies.
And Bobby, I'd forgotten you because you was telling me before we went live, you had a phone interview you got to do with John Glazier.
Yeah, that was really cool. I don't remember which whiskey it was, but it was a 3-year-old deluxe. We were talking about that.
Yes.
And he's a really laid back, very informed guy.
because it was about the time, and he did the drive for full disclosure, basically trying to get it to where they could put the age statements and the whiskeys in there.
Right, and the cool thing about them is you call them or email them, and they will tell you everything about the whiskey, the age, where it's from, everything. The only problem is it's not really a problem, but you can't say anything. They ask you not to share that information.
Right.
So when I'm writing my reviews for this stuff, it's really hard not to post that information on there. But
really, that is interesting. Wow.
Yeah, it's open. Like if just for the private person, you can get the information, but you're not supposed to release it.
Right.
Media aren't supposed to use it, stuff like that. So,
right.
Huh.
What'd you think of the double single?
The double single I thought was nice and fruity. I remember a lot of apple and pear notes, a lot of spice. I liked it, but I haven't seen any Compass Box releases here in New Orleans lately.
Really?
The last couple of years. I think This Is Not a Luxury Whiskey and the Flaming Heart 15th anniversary, I think it was. I think those are the last ones that we saw back here in Louisiana.
Yeah, because then he did the 3-year-old deluxe and the Spice Tree Extravaganza.
Right. Never saw those on the shelves out here, or at least here in New Orleans. Maybe it's out in Baton Rouge or another market, but
I had a sample of I had bought a bottle of the double single, which I have up there. And then I had a sample, which I tried and liked. So I went out and bought a second bottle of the double single. So I've got one of both, or one to open and one to keep.
What did you think of it in terms of compared to some of the other ones?
I really liked it. And the thing is, though, temper expectations, because it does have some grain whiskey in it. It's not wine cask influenced, which, a lot of people, I love sherry cask stuff.
Right.
I tend towards sherry cask stuff. Even when you have a peated whiskey, I mean, you're getting more than just a bourbon barreled single malt whiskey or a grain whiskey, either one. But the melding of the grain whiskey and the malt one, and like you said, so much fruit and so much vanilla and citrus was in there. It was really good.
Yeah, I love the idea of you think of blended whiskeys. It's like Johnny Walker got like 35 different whiskeys in it or whatever it is. Right. I love the idea of one grain whiskey, one malt whiskey. That's it. And you sort of get the best of both worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's an idea that the more whiskeys you add, the more you sort of take the character out of each one to make but you can argue that you're making a specific flavor. I had that argument with about Johnny Walker Blue. I know a lot of non-Scotch geeks. People don't know a lot about Scotch. They see blue. That's it. That's the high end, and that's what they drink. But I like the stuff. I think it's fantastic. People say, "Oh, you can get much cheaper malt whiskeys that are much better," and blah blah blah. Well, I'm paying for this flavor experience. I don't care if it's better, because for me, there's just it's different. There's no better. All whiskeys are different.
Johnny Walker Blue was the first kind of high dollar bottle that I had bought and splurged on and liked, and I shared with my dad when he was alive. So, Johnny Walker Blue always kind of has that bond or that, those memories to me.
Sure. In fact, I'm changing jobs. This is my last week at my current job. So I think next weekend to celebrate, I think I'm going to open it John Walker King George V.
Oh.
Which I've been
waiting
for something special to pop up.
Wow. Can you say where you're going, or is it a secret?
Oh, no, it's right now I'm at the ABC affiliate in New Orleans, and I've been there for 8.5 years. I met my wife there, and I'm moving over to the competition, the Fox station here in New Orleans.
Wow.
So, it's a step up, and I think opening that King George is a great way to celebrate. Is that or one of the Talisker 30-year-old I have sitting over there?
Ooh.
Wow, that's good too. Wait till you get like New York Fox.
See, here's the thing, though. I want to stay in New Orleans. I'm a New Orleans guy.
Well, there you go then. Never mind.
This is home. I've gotten offers from a few other places, but this is home.
Perfect. That's good. I love that.
Whiskey in the 6. Rob is asking, as far as the double single goes, what's the single grain in it?
Give me a second, Rob, and I can look that up.
Oh, I think I've got it. Let's see if it's on here.
He's asking if it's unmalted barley, right?
Well, that'd be an unmalted barley would still be that's a single malt. The grain.
That's true.
It's Glen Elgin is the malt, and I may need to issue an apology for mispronouncing this if I do.
Yes, sir.
Gervan.
Right.
Garvan is a single grain.
No apology needed.
None.
We are unapologetic.
Right. Just lay it out, baby. Lay it out.
All right. Well, hey, we are almost hour and 15 minutes in.
Oh, geez.
Did
we just started?
I know.
And plus, our bodies are making us feel like it's an hour later because we're setting our clocks back last night.
That is the reason. I wonder.
Yeah.
Was you feeling tired, Bart?
Yeah, it was hitting me. I'm thinking, man, is this cognac having a little extra effect?
You're only as old as you feel. Right now, I feel about 65. I'm sleepy. It's past my bedtime.
Bam.
Let's go. Bobby, let's close her out. Go ahead and give your information again, where to find you, who you are, AKAs and all that. And
so you can check out the blog, adventuresinwhiskey.com. That's whiskey with an E. Adventures in Whiskey on Instagram, on Facebook, and I'm Bobby_Childs on Twitter.
And yeah, I encourage everybody to check him out. He does his videos are great. He does. How often are you doing a whiskey blog? At least once a week or so.
Blog is once or twice a week. I need to step up because I want to play catch up with these samples. So I do have a fun review, a cigar review actually coming up tomorrow, which is fun.
Now we both, like us. I mean, you have a full-time job. We have full-time jobs. We're doing this on the side. Is there anything in the works or the makings of you going full-time whiskey business?
Oh, hell no. No. Whiskey's a hobby, and it stays fun that way. I think if I were to go into business, it would the hobby becomes the job, and that brings extra added stresses and stuff. I like it as a hobby.
Beautiful.
Kind of like you guys.
Yeah.
We are nearing retirement, so we're exploring options. But yeah, I mean, we still got a few years to go where this is still a hobby. So we'll see what happens.
Plus, I mean, it's. I started the blog just to try different whiskeys, and that's basically what I'm doing. So I'm happy.
Perfect.
All right. Well, everybody, if you get a chance, try the Hennessy, the Master Blender Series or Collection number 2. The Hennessy VSOP, not the VSOP.
Oh, I like the other way you say it.
Or if you like cognac and you want to try, you got a couple $100 to spend, Hennessy XO. The stuff's fantastic. And if you don't like it, send it to me. I'll drink it.
There you go.
That's right. Just like Andrew Descend did with us. He had a bottle of Wow, thought it was bad, sent it to us. We said it's not bad. It's very good.
It's good. He wants it back now.
It's gone.
Too late. Shakes Pennington got a hold of it.
All right, Bart. Sign off.
Scotch it, you Scotch gods.
Sláinte. Dummies.
He'll kill that feed.